Ida for serving my entitled neighbor a taste of his own medicine. I live in a close knit suburban neighborhood where everyone knows everyone. Most people are friendly, but one guy, let's call him Rick, takes the cake for being the most entitled person I've ever met. He's the kind of dude who thinks he's better than everyone else just because he drives a flashy car and flaunts his wealth. For years, he's bullied the neighbors, from blasting his music at all hours to demanding that we all keep our lawns pristine to maintain his perfect view. One Saturday morning, I was out gardening when I heard Rick yelling at his landscaper, a young kid no older than 20. Apparently, he was unhappy about some leaves that hadn't been completely raked up. To be honest, I was already fed up with Rick's antics. I planted my hands on my hips, and in that moment, I decided it was time to put him in his place. So, I strolled over and called out to him, "Need a hand, Rick?" As he glanced over, his disdain for me was palpable, but he was in full rant mode. "Why don't you mind your own business?" he barked. "I pay these idiots to do a job, and they can't even do that right. Maybe if you treated them with respect, they'd do a better job?" I shot back, eyebrows raised and my heart racing. Before he could respond, I got a wild idea. The revenge plot wasn't fully formed yet, but the gears in my brain were turning. I had a birthday party planned for my daughter the following week, and I thought, why not have a little fun with it? I sent out the invites to our neighbors with a simple stipulation: bring a dish for our potluck style dinner. Instead of just inviting the usual friends and family, I spread the word about Rick's temper tantrums and suggested that we throw in an entitlement theme. My neighbors were on board in no time. The party was going to be all about showcasing our humble strengths compared to Rick's perceived superiority. When the day arrived, neighbors gathered in my backyard, all with various food items. We had a taco bar, salads, a homemade cake, and to top it off, a giant sign that read, "Welcome to the Anti-Entitlement Feast." It was a light-hearted way of poking fun at Rick's attitudes. Of course, I intentionally invited him too, knowing he wouldn't be able to resist the free food. As Rick strutted in, looking confused but intrigued, I watched the look of realization wash over his face. The moment he saw the sign, the color drained from his face. "What's going on here?" he demanded, glaring at me. "Just a little celebration in the spirit of community and humility. Hope you're hungry, Rick." I smirked, gesturing to the buffet. He scoffed, but couldn't back out without looking foolish in front of the crowd, so he grabbed a plate. As he filled his plate, the neighbors started a quiet chant, mimicking the way he always talked down to people. "Humility, humility," they chanted, and I couldn't help but join in. Rick's confidence fell away as he realized it was a well-deserved roast. I could see him seething, but he was trapped in his own social morality. In his usual style, he attempted to rattle off some empty threats about calling the cops for trespassing, but we all knew it was empty bravado. A few dishes later, Rick made a scene, declaring that the food was unsophisticated and he was better than this. To that, I simply said, "Maybe if you spent more money on kindness instead of just appearances, we wouldn't have had to throw a roast in your honor." The crowd erupted in laughter, and Rick stormed off, muttering under his breath. Now, was I the asshole? I don't think so. I simply highlighted the consequences of his entitled behavior. I think a little public humiliation was the perfect lesson for him, and my neighbors are still talking about it. Some even suggested making it an annual affair. So, Atia for giving Rick a taste of his own medicine?